Garrett Castleberry here, host of Special Topics in Media, and this is just a little bit of, what do we call this? A morning confessional, commuting into campus, and perhaps we'll start a Friday tradition. I don't know. Is that too much transparency? It's Friday, headed to campus, uh, hence a little bit of casual attire. Now, I'm not always going in this casual, but there is an opportunity for some service work on campus. And if my back is holding up, that's not sarcasm. I will be lending a hand at some point, but I have tweaked it this week. And so I would love to not limp and waddle through the weekend into next week if I can help it. We're just going to have to play that by ear. But in the meantime, there's a lot going on. There's so many. As my co-thesis advisor once said, we're juggling chainsaws and alligators. And I feel that. Summertime, a lot of people away from campus, plenty of us still grinding. And you know what? It's been productive. And also, I've been away, had some recharge time, attended, this never happens, multiple conferences in the summer as opposed to fall, spring. So I kind of sat out the fall, spring for a year so that I could make a couple of opportunities happen. Of course, listeners to the pod, those that subscribe to the RSS feed, they're going to hear all about those conference experiences because we're building it in a special spotlight series on conferences and conferencing. Got a turn signal here. A little ASMR as well. That's right, multitasking. Java Joe Black. And drive under the speed limit. Abide by all laws, being very cautious, and be a conscientious driver and a conscientious vlogger. I don't know. This opportunity to reflect on things. What is the status quo for this week? We've been podding, working with a subject matter expert, aka a SME, on content for an updated version of our Mass Communication Perspectives course. Annabeth Fairley, she's such a great sport, coming in every week of her summer now too. She's a working adult, and she is sitting down with me, and we're doing a dual format production style. So always be innovating. I mean, you always, people talk about always be closing, always be innovating. We produced a mini series together last summer, and this year we're producing a sequel series because we're rotating a book in the course. However, we're also recording a side conversation on vertical video for the launch of our YouTube channel. Now, YouTube's been activated. We've had an account as long as the pods existed, just underutilized it, and we're trying to kind of make the most of that. That's where content like this is showing up, to give people a little bit of the uncut, the raw experience of what we're doing, what we're all about in the program, the lifestyle of academia in the 21st century, to work in media studies alongside communication, and that's exciting. It's fulfilling. All right, so this week, the to-do list, piled higher and deeper. That's an old comic that the same thesis co-advisor introduced me to, PhD Comics. You can subscribe to it and then receive a devastating 1 to 3 panel comic strip depicting life in higher ed every day in your email. But what does higher and deeper look like in 2026? I am trying to bring home a pair of publications. Committed editors been incredibly generous, as they have in the past, because we worked with them before multiple times over. I'm really at the end of my line, which makes it all the more humiliating if something were to fall through. But I've been churning, and I've been so throughout the summer, because things were irregularly more busy than usual. Over the last year plus, I've been taking to heart opportunities to handwrite drafts of critical essays in journals that I carry around with me everywhere. Take them on the road, take them on a plane, take them to meetings, whatever. And I'm not always turning to it. You can't. There are other commitments, but it follows that philosophy that creatives and dreamers and writers need to be ready to record thoughts. Drop of a hat. So I've been drafting essays by hand, typically with a fountain pen, by the way, which I enjoy quite a bit. Kind of helps take the edge off that process, and also helps downshift the screen time, all the digital distractions. They're real everywhere. They're real in every context possible. So we're trying to find the balance, find the offset. Also finding a balance. Recording some thoughts here, in commute, en route, or when out and about, so that we're not feeling that mental pressure, again, in the office, when there's something else to be doing. And brother, there is aplenty. So I've been working on a pair of book chapters, and I'm optimistic. I believe in the content. It's been very fulfilling. The best part about it is, so when one writes a scholarly essay, you sort of need that purpose statement or thesis statement, a hypothesis maybe even, to drive the direction of the essay. And I had put together two very different kinds of thoughts on what I want to tackle in the subject matter. And as a result, you're in the writing stages, or you start to outline, or spend a lot of time in R&R, kind of researching, exploring all the rhetorical elements. Honestly, you're looking for cultural context, you're close reading the text itself, you're considering reception, audience reception, critical reception. All these things can inform the ways you analyze an artifact, in this case of popular culture. And the great relief has come in that all of the personal, individual instincts I had about the text, purely from that observer, close reading perspective, continued to find evidence that supports that close reading. And, on one hand, okay, the process works, the method works, you feel validated in what you're contributing. On the other hand, sometimes, especially when you're in the intellectual economy, it's easy to think, oh no, this is just the same idea everybody's having at the same time about it. Or it's kind of like a space race, right? This is a Cold War reference, where countries were vying to get rockets into space, satellites into orbit, and so on, if you believe in that sort of thing. And so the intellectual community can be like that as well, a race to demonstrate your ability to form critical insights about things and phenomena in our message making and meaning making world. So that's a little bit what's going on. I've transcribed and thus converted written pages upon pages upon pages into hopefully stronger, more coherent set of these chapters. I'm not done. There's work to be done, so I need it to be a highly productive day. I suspect I went to bed about 1 a.m. last night, still working on it, keeping me up finally more often. Probably going to need a similar day of productivity here, but looking forward to the challenge, and hopefully, I am guilty of jinxing things. Murphy's Law rained down upon me. I hope not. We'll have some forward momentum. Grace will continue. We're going to cross this threshold, and they're going to have some nice additions to that scholarly project from which I've been excited to be a part of.